it does make sense, but Altrico have a chance to just go for like a mage that can really... A mage with good AoE here will be quite the problem for Rebellion to deal with as well.
For Altrico, I think you can just bank on this dive a bit more. Again, I'm trying to figure out still where these three heroes are going, because you can't really predict what's coming next if you don't know where these three are going. I think they'll certainly need a mage. That's the only one that we can say they kind of need here. And I guess if they want to go for a mid... Oh, they go for full dive. Okay, they go for... What? Hold up. Roger Gold. Kai Jungle, Masha XP, Chip, Rome, and then mid mage. Okay, that should be it, right?
It should be it.
Okay.
Capital, bold, underline, Italian, should.
Italian.
It's italic.
Italic, my bad.
The words just started making pasta for some reason, you know?
The Italian should. We'll see. Rebellion now, though, also requiring a mage that is going to be so vulnerable. Something with self-peel, something that with a lot of crowd control. It has to be something of that nature.
I mean, if you want to talk about like the ability to weave in, weave out, I would say Lilia.
Right.
But crowd control, I guess there is a layer that the Faramis can go, and we've used that, ladies and gentlemen. Let's welcome you into the Land of Dawn for game number 2 between the three-face masks as well as the Blue Bulls. You can see here Rebellion are trying to claw their way out.
Legends.
Their final chance in game number 2 here to make things happen. And unfortunately, to force a game number 3. And if they win it, that does push EVOS and RRQ further down into the red zone. And the one thing that was kind of what I really would like to see is the pick-off potential that Alter Ego has with Rekt on the chip, as well as the Kadita on Krite. Will we be seeing more of that later on?
I mean, technically, right? Rebellion kind of... They should be able to actually withstand this early game from Alter Ego. The snowball really happens when Chip can actually TP, right? So it's all about how they lane. I'm actually really curious to see how this Masha plays out in the XP, because we're used to seeing him in Rome. We're seeing him in XP. He's still going to be very active because of the chip teleports, but it seems like Cars is doing a good job already at taking a few hits onto the turret.
You know, Pi is on the Masha. The Pi won't be as teamfight heavy, so it's going to be a bit more 1v1 duel heavy against Cars. And looking at the emblems, Bargain Hunter compared to the Festival of Blood, so sustain-wise, Cars will have a huge advantage, and you can say for mobility as well, that will be the case. I think it's all about the ganks here, man. It's all, whether or not Alter Ego can find full value from the chip ganks. If Rebellion can thwart those ganks again and again, it's going to be a bit difficult to get rolling in the early to mid game.
That's why they're banking on getting Krite to level 4 fast, at least, before they go for this neutral objective. You can use that to hinder the movements coming in from Rebellion, but Taz here already getting chunked quite low, actually, from the damage coming through from Cars. As long as Suelo is there, he shouldn't have that much of a issue against Krite as well as Pi.
As recalled, Rekt has that TP though, so that's why it's gonna be big. Those are the teleports coming in. The portal's right there up top. Solo kill Nino, first blood. Down below, it's gonna be Vincent, very, very low to Poisson's Cars with a big shot back. But now the Pyramid pops him another realm. A bit late to save Vincent, but Rekt is gonna be low too. Cars gets one final shot to take him down still. At a lot of HP, but Rebellion have lost so many members. AudiTZ locked back up again. Cars with one punch, looking for another. Knockout strike home back again, and another! It's 2 on the board for Cars, trying to make it 3. One more shot, Taz, 1 HP, wants to go and get through the wall! Cars gets 3 early on to recover for the Blue Bulls.
What is with Cars and the early game, right? Because in game number 1, he did a similar thing on the Yuzong, and now he's replicating that on the Paquito here in minute number 3. But it is going to be a turtle given to Rebellion without the presence of Taz. And it's a 3-3. They've completely equalized it.
It's almost like they overextended after getting initially the value, because you have to remember Paquito in the early game has always been a menace, especially with all the built-in extra damage, extra shielding, and the machine, man, just strikes again right there. showing again that with the right picks, with the right aggressive picks that he can use to really exert his dominance, this man has always been a fearsome player to behold.
It is one of his comfort picks too, right? It's his signature picks from back in the day. And now we do see movements coming in from Rebellion. I'm wondering where the ganks are going to come through for Krite and Rekt, or is it a different strategy that they're going for?
I think they went for it earlier, but just didn't get the same kind of value. And I feel like they need Krite to get a few more items to be a real threat. Because he hasn't really solo killed just yet. No, Vincent just aggressively faking the roll-in towards Nino.
Taz is around though, so Rebellion cannot actually go for that dive. But yeah, back to Cars, I think. Oh, down below. There's a dive, there's a thunderclap. Cars gets a shield, but it's not enough. Pi picks up a shutdown, and that will technically level him back to the equal standing now in that XP lane. That's a Heptaseas for Pi. And yeah, in that gold, only 200 behind. He should be able to get a few shots on the turret, but Vincent actually denies that away.
It's such a confusing kind of playstyle, right? For the longest time, if you're not together with your team, you're in danger. But with Chip in your team, right, it's almost like the opposite. If you're gathered around every single time, then you're losing value from this hero. So, of course, for Alter Ego, it's a different feel when you're playing the game. But for Rebellion as well, it's a different feel on the receiving end of this kind of different playstyle. I think Crush wasn't really expecting that kind of two-man gang, but oh, D!
Oh, that's a good bait actually, but still way too low to stay in lane against Roger. Rekt putting it down once again. They're waiting for it. Krite joins, Taz joins, heavy spin, but Vincent still finds it. And Suelo's just holding on now. Pi jumping to the back, pulled back again by Stampede. And those are a lot of HP bars just gone, decimated, depleted, and that is a breath of the ocean. But Sway low, perfectly timed there with a Netherrealm. Rekt running for the hills, but what can he do against a boxer who can take him down with one last jab? RBL with a solid win. D, aggressive entropy. And AudiTZ walks in, I'm offended. Not ready just yet for now. Nino gets away. It's still on cooldown, but it's crazy how Rebellion got a turret in their weak side lane too.
And now Cars is going back as well to get another objective. So already a neutral objective on the board. They were able to get the turtle. They were able to get 2 towers. Already catching the mid tower quite low as well, as Rebellion pushed their value to a 2.5k gold lead in the 6th minute of the game. 1v1.
TP. It's never a 1v1 with Chip.
You're right.
It's never a 1v1 with Chip.
That is unfair, bro. That is dirty. Cars was squaring up for the honorable duel, and he just gets dogpiled. That is tough, but hey, his life for the turret, I think Rebellion will take that. Pi now.
Yeah, they'll take that, especially if they are able to get this kill down too. 2 thunderclaps, but the I'm offended comes in to peel him away. And they are layering these abilities so well, Rebellion.
Going back and forth here, still getting the edge, even though there's so much aggressive, a lot of aggressive heroes on the side of Alter Ego. For Rebellion, it's great, but I feel like Alter Ego, their late game isn't necessarily awful, right? The Masha will scale really, really well, and the Kadira, with I think 1 or 2 more items, will start being a real menace. So Krite only standing on the Lightning Truncheon, so 1 more penetration item, I think, and then he'll be a real threat for anyone, and he can operate alone instead of trying to facilitate ganks.
And this is where things get really interesting. Oh, a Purify already used by Nino earlier on, so that's a big resource baited out before they go in for the neutral objective take.
Heavy spin onto Vincent, it's D! Who finds it now with the entropy in the back as well. Rekt putting on the teleport as Pi tries to go deep onto D. And that is still going to be AudiTZ trying to provide some peel, and that's a full dive to the back, but there is another round to save, and they're all going to be clumped up, and Suelo, with the help of Cars' last punch, executes them here. The neutral objective to fight, and Cars, again with a triple kill this time on the Paquito.
What is he on in game number 2? He slept for a bit, woke up and chose violence. A second triple kill of the game. 4 members taken out from Alter Ego, and Rebellion keep reaping their rewards. A 5k gold lead doubled since the last time they won the neutral objective contest. It looked like Alter Ego committed attempted the dive on to D, but he was able to withstand the damage, and unfortunately, they had to lose Nino in the process.
It just seems like they're confused on how and who they really wanna focus on in these fights. Unlike the first game where it kind of made sense, they were kind of synergized. Now, look at how they're playing these fights out. Someone's targeting D, but at the same time, if you look at Krite, for instance, he used his full combo onto Cars instead of D or Sway Low. So they are trying to do a lot of things at the same time. And when it comes down to that, I think Rebellion has the advantage. And without a gold lead, now Alter Ego are going to be forced to play more conservatively, to stick around each other. This chip pick is almost getting completely neutralized by how the game is going.
It's all about how they were able to play around it. Suelo is so disciplined, so patient with that Netherrealm, and the team too are so conditioned to trusting Suelo with that Netherrealm. D was so low. I think a lot of players would just entropy out. They'd try to save themselves, but he knew Suelo was going to be there when he needed him to be there. So he just trusted in his teammate, and now it gets scary because he has a Win of Nature on top of that Pi. Up top, Cars very low, gonna give it Thunderclap, and picks up the shutdown now with the TPs as well. They might have gone for a bit too crazy of a fight here. Still though, the Netherrealm helps him, and the damage from Suelo, my goodness, the Ghost Bursters in the back. Audi trying to chase them down, Rebellion. They've lost one member, but why does it look like they have won the fight? Team picks up the chip that is isolated from the team, and it's a win again for Rebellion despite Cars falling.
They've spent the whole early game bullying Cars again and again. And yet this man has been killing, but look at Nino diving in. Look at this chaos coming from Alter Ego. Are they gonna go for a fight?
Uh-oh. Nino in the back, isolated. Cars is running him down. Vincent too, just stopping him from getting anywhere here. Krite jumps in, Breath of the Ocean into the rough waves, cancelled out. No, I'm offended to cancel it once again. Entropy, and Cars there to back up with the damage. He will get this kill. Audi's low, Nino looks for the execute. Now it's Krite who's down, and Wrecked who's up. But Suelo has respawned back, the passive doing work for him. Cars putting some damage down on the Taz, who's forced back. The TP coming again once again, and that is another beautifully placed Netherrealm. Cars knocks the Akai out. Vincent will be taken down by the Thunderclap as Nino tries to go for the execute in the back, but D is dealing so much damage with Cars and Suelo. Overwhelming Alter Ego and taking Lord from their hands.
Beautiful, beautiful team fight by Rebellion. The targeting, the timing from the way they utilized their resources in that team fight was brilliant. Alter Ego were left thinking, what do we do here? What do we go for? Initially, it looked good as they were able to take Suelo down, but unfortunately, the timing wasn't quite right, and Krite had to be taken off the board before they committed. And they didn't have that potential, the damage, the burst, and the combos coming in from the Kadira to be able to take down their very important backliners that were dealing all that damage.
Oh, they picked up Suelo, and that's a big mistake right there.
Big value
Never
play.
mind, he has passive. He can come back.
It's a lot faster, and it's a bit underrated of a passive. And in this game, the Faramis is just such a good pick because it's aggressive. The death timers being that short is going to be a huge value, but hang on a minute. Whoa!
Rex jumps in to the back, wants to get that entropy. No Suelo this time. They have to respect it, but they don't. They end up falling here. They give up one. Suelo, they need to wait for the Netherrealm, right, for Rebellion. But I guess without the Lord there, they could afford losing Vincent and Suelo. That's it. They cannot afford to lose more.
I was about to say, I mean, lower death timers, you do have the Netherrealm as well, of course, but then with Alter Ego's composition, everyone, including the chip even, is going to be clumped up. That's a lot of damage.
Now it's Taz a bit too much than he can chew. The Netherrealm comes down, and that means that Alter Ego cannot deal with their HP bars, but D certainly can with the entropy, with the power spike. Natan is disgusting.
That's a Natan with
2 HP bars.
2 HP bars, and also the Divine Glaive instead of the Holy Crystal.
Pi?
With all the penetration. Now, 3-man defense.
Oh man, against a Nintendo, the 3-man defense is already weak in itself. With a Natan, with Suelo waiting for that Netherrealm to come back. Taz and Rek will respawn. So, I don't think Rebellion can end, but it looked so risky, and now 2 base turrets down. Alter Ego.
And that's a 7.8k gold lead for Rebellion. Already a lot of value coming through. I thought that Pi was going to go for an insane play, but there was no follow-up, so he didn't go for the commit. But that's definitely something that he can think of doing, perhaps. If they overcommit, if they see that all the resources are already used, like the Nether Realm and so on and so forth, then maybe Pi can look for a vantage point that can take down the backline. That's Natan.
It's so tough for him as well because he's an XP laner. Usually when we saw the Masha really work, it's because the Masha is a roamer and you really lose out when you're forced to use a lot of resources to take out the roamer. But now that Pi is an EXP laner, it's almost like Rebellion have no issue and they're not losing as much, spending, let's say, 1 or 2 ultimates to make sure that the Masha does get taken out. And on top of that, right now, the issue is D is just so secure in this situation. Usually, of course, when you have a Natan, it's all about whether or not you can protect the Natan and let him carry. Well, now, only against a Kadira, a Roger, and a Masha, he has the Wind of Nature, and he has the Purify. So, for the most part, he has all his bases covered when it comes to trying to survive in these big fights.
And that's on an individual level, right? It doesn't even put into consideration of the other resources that his team can utilize. So it is a big issue. Rekt gets caught in that bush, actually.
It's never a 1v1, but this is a 1v5. Rekt can't even pop the TP, and even if he does, I don't think... No, Alter Ego do not want to take it. It's an instant man disadvantage if they do. Rekt got eaten up here by Rebellion, got charged down, and Taz is next on the chopping block, who's not going to be chased down by a boxer. And a girl with a scythe. Cry in the back. A desperate play. Audi not seeing Cry, not finding him. Oh, the Cry doesn't pop the Petrify to CC Vincent, and now gets gunned down by D. Absolutely denied.
He just took the knockup and he knows he has a Purify, but it wasn't necessary. He just looked at Krite on the way down.
1v1. Cars versus Pi. That's 1 HP bar. He doesn't want to get the other HP bar down because he gets a reset on the Thunderclap, but he can find some reinforcements. Sway low, very low now. Nino jumping forward, Nether Realm, baiting it out. Cars right there to save him. Nino also running for the hills. Doing some damage on the Vincent as the TP comes down as well. But on the other side, it's going to be D. 1v1 against Pi, and he finds the solo kill. 1v1. Taz with a heavy spin onto D, but he does pop an Entropy just in time now as Taz won't be able to shred down to Natan. That's not how you do it, D! This guy, the Lord! Game 1, it was the Minions. Game 2, it's the Lord!
Whoa! What were they doing? They tunnel visioned on that team fight. Rebellion! And the Lord acclaims the player of the game.
Man, what is that? The high tempo, high pace from both these teams. But then Rebellion comes out on top. A bit of deja vu. The fact that the lanes were just completely ignored. Both teams, it's personal, man.